Dr. Nina Riastoria, here with...
I'm Greg Walls, still here with Dr. Nina, and we have a very, very special guest today.
We do have a special guest, Trenell Walker, and he is an inspiring speaker that wants to change lives and empower generations to thrive by adding value to their lives. And I think what makes you so special is just your journey to get to this place. And though you can't see him, he, at age 14, became a quadriplegic while playing high school football. But since then, today, he became certified as a rehabilitation counselor. He's a life-enhancing speaker, a DISC certified, and a Zig Ziglar Legacy certified trainer. So he has a lot of wisdom to share with us today on how to get through the difficult times. So welcome, Trenell.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate you being here. So where do we begin? What's on your heart to talk about today?
Well, it's really wherever y'all want to take it. But one of the things that I just want to share, my background. Growing up, I came from a single-parent home. It was just me, my older brother, and my grandmother, who also had a disability that my mom was able to take care of. My mom worked 3 jobs just to make sure we were taken care of. So I grew up with my brother. My brother was like my father figure because I didn't get to know my dad till I was about 6 years old. And then even then, it was like popping in and out.
How old was your brother?
My brother is 8 years older than me. So just imagine, having a 5-year-old brother and you 13, 14, watching over him when, my mom was at work. So his favorite sport was football. So naturally became mine too. And we played football in the house, outside the house, over a friend's house, wherever we could play the game. That's what we did. And it kept us out of a lot of trouble as well. And my brother, again, I was playing with his friends. Again, I'm the only 5-year-old out there.
You're the only young pup out there trying to figure out
wrapping up ankles.
What it looked like.
Yeah. Wrapping up ankles. And I believe that's what, also enhanced my ability, to play football to where I was able to play on the varsity football of my high school in Sherman, Texas, as a freshman. And my biggest dream, like any athlete's dream, is to be able to take care of my mom, to be able to, make sure she didn't have to work. And she always stressed education. Education. And I always asked her, Mom, why did you stress education? She said, because I didn't get money. Because she dropped out when she was in 9th grade because she had my brother early. Yeah. And she said, I didn't want you all to struggle like I did. And so not only was I an athlete, I also had to get my grades because she taught us the value of getting education. And that played a big part in my life when my injury occurred. I'll never forget it. It was October 20th, 1995. I was the only freshman on the varsity football team.
What position?
I was which position I didn't play.
Woo!
Yeah,
I see.
I played running back. I played running back. I played backup outside line. I played backup safety. I played all special teams except field goal.
Gotcha.
And you're really fast.
Yes,
really fast.
I actually ran a 4.5 in the 40. And that was when I was in the 8th grade. They didn't clock it when I was in the 9th. And so as a freshman, I was 6'1", 185 pounds. I ran a 4.5 in the 40. I benched 215. I squatted 325, and I power cleaned 215.
So you were just a physical freak of nature in the 8th, 9th grade.
Yeah, that's what they tell
That's
me.
That's what they tell me. Because those numbers are big for a young man right there.
So yes, like I said, I was blessed and I'm grateful, to be able to do that. And me, I was playing the game at the time to not only provide for my family, but to have fun. So the lights from the stadium shined down on the field, capturing my performance. The cold October breeze nipped at my skin as I walked to the left side of the defensive line to take my position as the strong safety. I looked in to my right at the quarterback, waiting for him to receive the ball. He received the ball, and and he pitched it to the running back that immediately pitched it to the running back that was heading my direction. I blitzed upfield to stop the running back. I made a textbook tackle from behind, hitting the running back, wrapping him up and driving him toward the ground. He seen my teammate coming from the opposite side, so he ducked underneath. My teammate launched himself at the falling running back. He missed, striking me at the top of my helmet, crushing the fourth vertebrae, leaving me paralyzed from the neck down.
So he crowned you.
My head actually hit his chest. And I'll never get that feeling. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. I was laying there, and even though I was laying on my left side, it felt like the inside of my body was going into a fetal position. And I remember my brother coming down, he took my mouthpiece out of my mouth, he came out the stand and asked me, what's wrong? Then I told him I think I broke my back. Because out of all the, karate movies, I felt that if you break your neck, you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
And so I remember hearing somebody else asking me, can you squeeze my hand? I didn't even know the person was touching me. And so then they rolled me on my back and put me on the gurney. And my body, even though I was on my back, it felt like my arms and legs were pointing toward the sky.
Wow.
Yeah. And they immediately took me to the hospital. And I'll never forget this. I just heard noise. And I looked up at my mom. I'm like, what is that noise? She said, they're cutting your pads off of you. I said, am I paralyzed? And she nodded her head, yes. And I told her, just pray for me. And while I was in ICU, that's the intensive care unit, my heart stopped 3 times and my lungs collapsed. The doctor didn't know if I was going to live or die. And I love my mom because when they told her that they had me stable, and they was like, hey, we're doing the best we can do. And she was like, you done your job.
Yeah, you done.
She was like, it's in the Lord's hands now. And she continued to tell me that she remembered hearing this song, remembering the song that she used to sing called Faith. And she said it was like God telling her, do you believe what you were singing about? How faith can conquer anything.
So true.
And she prayed, she said, hey, he's my son, he's your child. If you see fit for him to live, I will take care of him. But if you see fit to take him, give me the strength to make it through. And so, as you can see, I'm here today. She's right there by my side, along with my brother Artez and my stepdad Maurice. Helping as well as family and friends.
Yeah.
So that's where I've come from that moment to, I would say now, but at that time it was from a 14-year-old boy that didn't get to celebrate his 15th birthday like he thought he was.
Right.
I had to do it in the hospital, fighting for my life.
So while you're laying on that bed and you hear the things going on around you, everything is different. The moment of your life changes. What were you thinking about?
I was scared. I remember a nurse that took care of me. She said, Trenell, because I asked her, what was it like? And she said, Trenell, I just seen a scared 14-year-old kid. She was like, I wanted to help you, but there really wasn't anything that I could do. She's like, being a parent, that's hard. Because that could be your son. You could be my son. So, but yeah, I was scared. Because I felt like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that.
It was like one moment, I'm around people that I know. And then the next moment, I'm around nobody.
You're a stranger in a strange land.
Exactly. And then I'm having to trust people that I don't even know.
That's scary.
Very. And my mom and my brother and my friends are not able to come in there and see me.
They can't help you. Yeah.
Because I'm in a critical state and they're not able to come in there.
So you felt helpless, scared,
What about angry?
angry?
Angry didn't come until later. The anger came after I got into Baylor rehab. And I just started thinking about this. I was angry because I felt like I was robbed of my teenage years. I was angry because my dream turned into a nightmare. I was angry because the sport that I love was taken away. I was angry because I felt God just left me.
So let me ask you, who were you angry with?
I was angry at God.
That's fair.
And you know, one of the things I've read about you, Trenell, is that, you know, up until 14, you were a great student. You were always doing things right. You stayed out of trouble. Everyone thought you were like the perfect, like great athlete, great student, great, you know, son. Everything was just good. And I know I've heard some of your friends say, like, well, how could this happen to Trenell? And there are people listening when they have bad things happen to them. They're like, why me? What would you say to that? Because you were there.
Whatever you're feeling at the time, don't stuff it. Embrace it. If it's anger, embrace that anger.
Get through it.
Yes. But the thing is about those emotions, you don't let them control you. One of the things that I did at that time that I didn't know about is that I was burying my feelings. But buried emotions don't mean dead emotions. Which is why I actually would tell somebody, find somebody to listen as well. Because I had a lot of people encouraging me, but I don't think I wanted was somebody to listen.
Yeah, there are a lot of talk. Everybody's waiting to talk.
Yeah. And so I'm like, even though you don't understand what I'm going through, just listen and tell me, hey, I'm here to support you. Just let me know because, again, it was new to everybody. This was a new normal. And when you have a new normal, you have a new mindset. And when you have a new mindset, it takes a whole different level of emotions to be able to elevate you. Yeah. So at that time, if you're asking why me, maybe you should ask yourself, why not me? Because there may be something that's going to happen to you that you may be, like I've learned, my disabilities help me have the ability to reach those that wouldn't be able to reach before.
So, that's fantastic. I want to make sure I ask this right. So, you get out of the ICU, you going into rehab. Was that, in my mind, could have been more difficult than just the accident and the ICU itself?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts while you're trying to move and learn how to operate without being operable? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so what, because I want to know when you're 14, 15, 16, we don't really know who we are, even what we're doing. We're looking for guidance. In those moments, you're the only person that can actually guide you through this. People are helping you and showing you things to do, but that's surface. But when you're by yourself, when you're alone, when it's all done, what were you thinking? Like, did you see it further than that next moment, or when you were 20? Like, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, this sucks.
Man.
This sucks monkey balls for real. I was just, because one of the things that I didn't share is that I was still on the ventilator. The machine was still
breathing for you. Yeah.
You know, doing all this transition. So again, there was a lot of fear, as well as I wasn't able to eat. So during all this time, they're trying to wean me off of this machine. And I'm grateful I had a respiratory therapist. She always called me her little chickadee.
Yeah.
She would always come in, hey, my little chickadee. And so it made me do exactly what it did to y'all, made me laugh, you know, in the midst of my pain. And her encouragement, you know, actually helped me a little bit, even in my mindset, because again, I'm still confused.
Right.
And I also had another respiratory therapist that really got in my stuff. Because I was always scared to go to sleep at night with that machine on. And I always knew how to make it beat for her to come in there, to turn it on a level, turn it on the setting that the machine will breathe for me.
It made you comfortable.
Yeah. And instead of, me trying to wean me off. One day she came in and she's like, Trenell, go ahead and go to sleep. And she's like, I'm going to sit right here. I was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good sleep now.
Yeah. So I went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up. She wasn't there.
Mm.
And, I started doing breathing fast, making it go beep, beep, beep. So she came in there. And she said, Trenell, I've been gone for 2 hours.
Mm.
She said, you can either let this machine breathe for you for the rest of your life, or you can choose to get off of it.
Mm.
It's on you. And so again, the mindset is that even though I'm feeling scared, I have to persevere. Even when I had to learn how to eat solid foods again, which I like food. I ain't gonna lie. And so not being able to eat and being fed through a tube and being fed parade food, which is like baby food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got it looking good like it's a steak and peas on a plate.
Yeah, but it ain't what you want.
No. So again, I've had to learn how to eat solid foods again. So again, a state of persevering, even though I didn't feel like it, even though I didn't want to, my life depended on it.
So when did you accept your new norm? Because athletes, I don't care when you start, you can be 5 years old, 8 years old, or 45 years old. When did you accept this being your new norm? This is your day-to-day situation that you have to make better. Because I know that don't happen overnight.
Yeah, honestly, it's still an adjustment. It is still an adjustment. The reason why I say that because everyone around me is able-bodied. And I remember what I used to do when I was able-bodied.
Everybody ain't able-minded.
That's
good.
Shoot.
But it was like 6 years later, after going through depression, anger, through the whole grieving cycle, 1 minute I think I'm okay, but I was depressed for 2.5, 3 years. Like I said, I didn't want to live. I thought about committing suicide by starving myself to death. Like I said, I like food.
Like that ain't the way. That ain't the way.
So I wouldn't say 6 years. Yeah, it was 6 years, but 3 years into it. What did I say, 3 years? Yeah.
So around 17, you found yourself going into depression, approximately.
Yeah. Like real bad depression. I was depressed for 2.5 to 3 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? For some people, they can't get out of it. And for you, after 3 years to get out of it, what significant event helped you to have a moment to get out of it?
Or even subtle of it?
A couple of things. One, even though I didn't want to hear it at the time, my mom was like, hey, you on a mission.
Excuse me. I'm with you.
Oh, okay, you're on a mission. And God has you on a mission. And honestly, I dropped the F-bomb, like, F God.
Because you're still are you still angry at this point?
Angry. Yeah,
You've been angry since the accident?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like I said, depression came whenever I seen my friends going and coming. But the real moment came when one night, my mom always encouraged me to pray. She was always about the faith and the praying and the education.
Sound like my mom.
Pray to Jesus.
Right? So one night, with tears rolling down my face, I finally did what she encouraged me to do. And that was to pray. I was like, Jesus, come into my life and have your way. My eyes closed tight. And I had a peace that passeth all understanding overcome me. And then I heard a tender voice say, Trenell, you put football before me. I don't want anything put before me. But through this injury, I'm inspire others that if they put me first and use their mind to the fullest, they can do anything. That let me know right then that was my purpose.
Yeah.
My purpose was bigger than playing football.
And you felt it immediately, huh? That peace.
Yeah.
That's when you know, because you feel it. And because everyone's like, how do you know? You just feel it's a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because the girl I was dating at the time, she came over and I was just talking. And she was like, Trenell, you okay? I was like, yeah. And she was like, man, I've never seen you like this.
So happy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm finally understanding my why.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Did you put football before everything else? Like, that's the question. Like, because you know that, or at the moment, I'm sure you didn't think you were. That was the baby. That was your passion. That was your purpose in your mind. But did you put football before everything else?
That was my first love.
Okay.
That was, besides my family,
Right.
things like that, football was my meal ticket. That was my first love. That was the thing that whenever I went out on that field, that was my sanctuary. That was my peace. That's where I got to.
That's your peace right there.
Yeah, I got to enjoy it and leave everything out there. All the worries, all the anger, it was just fun. So again, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So now you're in this place. You now feel peace. How old are you now? Like 20? You're 20 approximately? And you feel like you have a new calling?
Actually, I think I was more like 18.
Were you 18? So 18 years old, you accepted Christ into your life. You felt His presence. How did that change your life moving forward?
Slowly. I still went through the whole anger and all those things. And one of the things that I experienced in doing that is that I started using God as a crutch. And what I mean by that is, if someone was asking me how I'm doing, I'd be like, I'm blessed.
Yeah, you were giving them rhetoric.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can, tell them, and I can speak out of scripture. But Lauren Hill said something that I'll never forget. She said, we've been taught to protect the outer man while the inner man is
The outer
dying.
man is dying. Yep.
And so that's what I experienced. And so I would lean on that, but I still wasn't dealing with what was on the inside. And in doing that, I was like, I'm tired of thinking it till I make it. I want to be it till I become it.
That's good.
Yeah, and so that made me realize that, hey, I need to take this mask off and use God as a physical therapist rather than a crutch. Because if you stay on a crutch too long, where you're hurting is never going to heal. However, when you got a physical therapist, he or she's going to work with you. And you're going to have to put some weight on that ankle or whatever it is that you're working with, to try to, get it used to, in order to strengthen it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I realized. I'm like, man, I can't just keep saying, blessed and highly favored in the Lord. I can do all,
I love Jesus. Jesus loves me.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, man, this stuff sucks. I don't like it, but I got to keep moving. And so once I started realizing to use God more as a physical therapist rather than a crutch, that really helped change my mindset. To realize that, hey, man, faith without works is dead.
Every day.
And so if it's to be, it's up to me.
So you were saying it, but you weren't feeling it. You didn't mean that. What you were trying to convince yourself it was okay. Yeah. Instead of accepting what it was and moving past it. Yeah. Did you still watch football?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love watching football. The hardest part for me was going back out to the stadium where I got injured.
Oh yeah.
And watching high school football, I enjoy it. And I've gotten better now over the years. But I would always have that what if. Yeah. That should have been me. That was killing me.
Yeah.
And so I've I've adapted now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's not my life anymore, even though I wish it was. And just enjoy it, just like with my brother. He coached an intramural football team at UNT
Mm-hmm.
that we went to. And, I got involved with that, and now he's teaching he just had a 6th grade 707 team. And so I'm able to enjoy that and be able to be like the supporter.
Mm.
So, yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic. Do you ever get to a point where you take a look at the way you're viewed by people or by strangers and then wonder what they're thinking about you? Because one thing I know athletes, I don't care how old you are, we don't want people to feel sorry for us, and then you spend a little bit of time through depression or feeling sorry for yourself. We've all done that regardless of what the situation is. You lose a job, you feel sorry for yourself. Whenever you lose anything, the first thing is grief, anger, you go into those stages. But when you're looking out at the people when they see you in everyday life, especially when you were younger, when you were 16, 17, what were your thoughts about what they saw?
I thought that they no longer saw a star athlete anymore.
Mm.
They saw a disabled version. Because they actually, I think they see me as worth anything anymore.
Really?
Because I felt, and that's because I was projecting
That's what I'm asking.
on them
Mm-hmm.
what I felt. Like, oh, I'm worthless. I'm people just, want pity on me. Because it's funny because when I first went out, I didn't want to go out in public. I didn't because I felt people was going to be looking at me funny.
Mm-hmm. And they were.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
They
normal.
were.
It's normal.
Yeah,
Or they'll look away. They don't want to, they see and they don't want to, draw that attention, not knowing that they're drawing attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so exactly. And so people would just look at me. And I used to wear a towel over my head, not only to regulate my temperature, but it was my security blanket.
You was invisible.
Mm-hmm. Or at least I felt like I wanted to be. And people would just look at me, stare at me. Or if I'm in Sherman, they was like, "Where are you that, football player that got injured?" I was at that game. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I want to tell them I was too in the field. But yeah, that's the way I seen. I thought they seen me as worthless.
Because that's how you felt. But when your mindset changed about who you were and your faith was important to you, how did that change your mindset and then how people saw you in your opinion?
It changed. Especially with my family.
Mm.
They were doing all they can to make sure to encourage me. But once they seen my mindset change and how I was looking at things, because I ain't gonna lie, my mom had her foot so far in my butt, I was tasting her soul.
Mm-hmm.
She made sure that I wasn't gonna quit, and so when she started seeing, the turnaround, it started inspiring them.
Mm.
It started encouraging them.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Well, and that I want to talk about. I know this was important for you to talk about because now you speak and you persevered through all of this, and you say it's still every day you're pushing forward. You created the 7 principles of perseverance and performance, and it's called the Trenell effect.
yes.
When did you create that, and what motivated you to create that?
I was actually wanting to start my own speaking business. And whatnot. And so my mentor, Tom Ziegler, the son of Zig Ziglar, I went to him one day and just sat down with him because he became a real good friend and mentor to me. And he was like, "Trenell, have you ever thought about using your name?" He said, "It's a unique name." He said that you can use the T for take action, the L for love, and the rest you just have to figure out.
Yeah, you can figure out the rest on your own.
I gave you 2. You do the rest.
And so he inspired that thought, and so I went home I just thought about the things that I learned in my life. And I've learned the take action part from my mom.
That's the first T, take action.
Take action.
Do something.
Yeah,
Go.
definitely, because I saw that proper action leads to satisfaction.
There you go.
And then I looked at the R, which is the second letter, resilient. I watched my mom work 3 jobs. I watched her go without food to make sure we had food. And there was time that the lights were temporarily cut off, but she got them back on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I thought about resilient. Be resilient, because 2 steps back can lead to a great comeback. And I got that 2 steps back because as a defensive back, the first 2 steps you got to take.
First steps are backwards.
Backwards.
Yep.
And once you make that right read,
Yep.
then you're able to make a great comeback.
You can make that comeback.
You talked about your mom being resilient. How I know you've been resilient, but what has helped you be resilient through all of this, even today?
Support. Support has helped me be resilient. Because again, without the support of family and friends, I would still be laying on the bed right now. And also, what has helped me be resilient is changing my mindset. Yeah, my mindset from poor me to it's gotta be me. And that's what really has helped me be resilient. And when my situation, I look at my mom every day. I told her this morning, people ask me where I get my inspiration and determination. I'm like, Mom, I watch you every day. I mean, she had carpal tunnel surgery, and was people were wanting to help her with me. She's like, oh, I got this. She's like, I got one hand. She's like,
it works. Yeah. Yep.
So watching her, and also, that's where that came from, was watching her, the mindset
And the support.
and the support.
And the support system with any athletes, and there was a research study on this, for any athlete going through any kind of transition or any type of change in their life, having that support system in place beforehand or through it has made a difference overall in how they deal with their mental health or going back into playing after an injury. Their performance does well when they have that support system through it. And you just mentioned that was an important piece for you to stay resilient.
Yeah.
Is to create that support system. If you don't have it, that's important.
Yeah, because one of the things that I've learned from my situation is God is the bedrock. People around you are your support system. That's the foundation. Because once you have, I take that back, God is the bedrock. You, as in your mental state and in your faith, is the foundation.
You just answered my question. I was going to say, where do you fit? I was going to say, well, where do we fit in this process?
Because if you can have God as the bedrock, but if you're not looking within,
there's no answer.
You can't build the rest of the house because there's a crack in the foundation. Therefore, the house is no good. So again, having to look within and grow. Because anything that ain't growing is dead. Therefore, we all have to change. None of us woke up this morning the same as we did yesterday.
That's right. You might need to do some preaching.
Yeah, I know, right? So I got to hear the rest of the effect. So where are we? E? Yeah.
The E is for encourage. And again, I got that one from my mom because she always said, hey, do your best. I don't mean for you to get A's. I know you ain't going to get straight A's, but the only thing I want to know is, are you doing your best? It's like whether you be your best student, be a best firefighter, be a best trash man, always do your best. I mean, and so that was, she was always encouraging us. And encourage in order to help one flourish. So her encouragement helped me flourish. Along with, my brother and everyone else that has been in my life, but that's where the E come from. But the N, which is the next letter, never quit. This actually came from my brother. Being the youngest one out there with all the older people, I could never quit.
It gets physical and hurry.
Yeah.
You got to stay in the mix. Yeah.
I'm biting at ankles trying to make
Yep.
them go down. But one of the games, we used to play a game called Up the Middle. And basically, we would be in a room. We didn't have cones at the time, so you would put a sock representing, you know, the out of bounds markers, and he would get in front of the out of bounds markers. He get in front of it because that was the end zone. I'm telling you, my brother is not a skinny person.
No, he's a big guy. I saw him.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
It's kind of scary. I mean, if you're little, and he's 8 years older, he's big.
Yeah, he is. And I was the running back. And so basically he would tell me, hey, you gotta score a touchdown by getting past me. If you run outside these cones, you gotta bounce.
Yep.
Yeah. You gotta bounce. I'll never forget this. The first time, you know, I was fast. The first time he gave me the ball, you know, he back down said, "Hut." So I'm trying to use my speed to run to the outside. Mistake. He pushed me so hard into the wall, I felt like I was a portrait. And so I got up. I was mad. He's like, "You mad?
Yeah.
You mad? Do it again."
Mm-hmm.
And I got up. Like, yeah, this time I'm gonna run him over. I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I ran back down. Said, I ran toward him. That's the thing I know. I got pushed so hard. I was doing backflips. I didn't know I could do.
Yeah, you all on your back. Yeah.
But the third time I got smart. He tossed me the ball. And I ran toward him as fast as I could, like I was going to run over him again. He lunged at me. At the last minute, I jumped in the air.
Ooh.
He hit my feet, causing me to flip in the air. I landed in the end zone. Touchdown.
That's where you go.
That
was creative.
Yeah.
That taught me to never quit, no matter how hard it gets.
Find another way.
Yeah. This leads us to the E.
Uh-huh.
Evaluate. In that game, it taught me to evaluate the situation. If I can't go around the obstacle and I can't go through the obstacle, I'm going to have to go over the obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've learned that evaluation can lead to your destination.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I didn't say about the end is that it's impossible to stop a motivated person because he or she will never quit. And so after, you know, the evaluate, I had to learn. I had to learn from that situation, from that game, from what my mom went through. That game taught me to learn from it. Education, I had to learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn in order to earn respect for myself, others, and possibly earn more money.
Ain't no doubt about that now. So.
And you went off and got your master's. People think
Yes, yes, I did. Super excited. Got my master's in rehabilitation studies. The last L is for love.
You didn't do L learn.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You learned love. Okay, love.
yeah. The last is for love. I learned that love is a gift from above, and I've learned that you have to love. That I learned that you have to love thy neighbor as thyself. But how are you going to learn to love your neighbor if you don't even love yourself? So that was the L is the hardest part for me because it's continuous. Learning to love myself. Because again, like I said, being an athlete, it was all within my body. My body was my tool. My body was my escape. But when I no longer had my body,
there's no escape.
Not at all. Yeah. So I'm always living in my head. And even now, it's a struggle. Wondering, like my mom's getting older, who's going to take care of me? Getting out, am I going to be sick? So most people, when something happens to the people in their life, they're able to take care of themselves. I have to use the mindset of a general manager. I have to put people in place. Coaches in place, team players in place. So whenever I need to call on them, I have all the people in the right positions to do the things that I can't do. For example, like my assistant Michael. As you can see how helpful he's been on doing the things that I can't do so I can focus on the things that I can. So again, it has taken a while to get to that point. And it had to be 2 years ago or last year where I actually broke emotionally. Most people are emotionally stunted where they experience trauma. And one of the things that I learned is that I never let that 14-year-old boy cry. I didn't, even though I'm older. That 14-year-old boy never got to cry. And I was looking at a picture one day of me in the 8th grade hugging the girl that I was with, and it just broke down. And I was like, man, I'll never be able to do that again in my life. I'll never be able to, go walking by myself again in my life. All the things that 14-year-old kid used to do, I'll never get to do again, so it broke me down. And then when the documentary came out, I watched it, and I seen the effects that it had on my friends. Again, I broke down, and I'm crying. I'm like, it hurts. It hurts. But I showed self-compassion by saying, it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but it hurts. It hurts with tears going down my eyes, but I'm like, it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go ahead and let that 14-year-old boy mature. And as I'm getting more in touch with my emotions and being present and connecting with myself,
Mm-hmm.
this allowed me to feel free to connect with others and not be judging them because I know who I really am.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I've learned, to start loving myself, even the things that I don't like, being paralyzed. But I have to love what I've been able to do. What should I say? Being a vessel, through this to inspire others. That if they put God first and use their mind to the fullest, they can do anything, which allows me to affect lives and empower generations to thrive by being able to triumph beyond their limitations.
So you said you know who you are, and we've had conversations here about who are you when you take the hat off, when you take the helmet off, when you take the jersey off. A lot of athletes, we have a hard time finding out who that person is because that's how we're identified. That's how we're called. Like that is who we are until we're not. When did you find out who you were?
It's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm. But now you know who you are. That person that, because you said it earlier, you have to live in your mind. Like everything happens, it projects inward before you can express it or it can manifest outward. And there are certain things physically you can't do.
Yeah.
But it takes a special kind of person to recognize that and not fake that, not show people one thing and feel a different way inside. When did that transition? And around what age did you realize, the way I am out here is the way I show. The way I am in here is the way I show out there. So I'm not fighting that.
Your authentic self.
God just blessed me. Yeah, you're not telling those lies to yourself. When did that? Around what age did that happen?
Probably about 25. Because I've read that the brain is fully matures at age 25.
And we are who we are by 35. That's what I read.
Yeah. And so it's probably around the 25-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Or even afterward. It may even been 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a big weight. Trying to masquerade around life.
Yeah.
Being something that you're truly not. And it reminds me of like those big bags that are so heavy. No, let me take that back. Have y'all seen the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey?
Yep.
That's the way it was for me. It's easy to put that mask on.
It's safe.
Yes.
It off as a monster.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the hardest part for me. I'm like, man, I'm tired of wearing this mask. Because when Jim Carrey put it on, he was somebody else.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, this hurts. And so I just decided to really start journaling. I started, journaling really helped me. Because now I'm able to get what's on the inside out.
Take it, yeah.
Yeah, see, I can't go out there and run and work out and, get that stress. So my stress was journaling. stress relief with journaling.
And just talking about it, sharing it, writing it, that helps. That relieves all that stuff that's inside.
And that's why I like speaking.
Yeah.
Because when I was in college, the way I got in college was a Professor Sil Flores 11 as well as Linda Holloway at UNT. Linda's was the first class I spoke to because my cousin was like, hey, he needs to get out of his head because he's going to a dark place.
Mm.
So I spoke to her class, and it was so therapeutic.
Mm.
Good.
Yes, because I'm able to speak. They're listening.
Mm.
And then they ask questions just like a counselor does.
Mm.
And they appreciate it rather than somebody just always telling me, trying to encourage me and all that.
Rhetoric.
Yes.
And getting away from rhetoric. Yeah.
And then Sil Flores, I came to spoke to his class, and he heard what I wanted to do. Because I was just going to go to a community college. He said, if you had an opportunity to come to UNT, will you? I was like, hey,
Yeah, sure.
He was like, what about your family? I'm like, hey, they're just going to have to catch up.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, so being able to experience not only journaling and speaking, but going to college. Because when I went to college, they just seen me. They didn't see the wheelchair. And friends I made there, I mean, because they accepted me for what they saw me.
Yeah.
So again, that was another moment.
And I feel when you have those moments and you have so much peace and joy, that's God saying you're on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the right. This is where you're supposed to be, and you feel it. Like that joy you felt after speaking to the group of students. It's like this is where you're supposed to be now, and that's pretty awesome that you got here. But you got here from the Trenell effect, right? It's just using all these things you've talked about, and I love that you even said though you had the Trenell effect. You created this how many years ago?
Ooh. Maybe 2013 when I just wrote that.
So 6 years ago, and then you said, but 2 years ago, you hit a bump. And I think just because we're all on the things are good in life, it doesn't mean God's not going to test you and challenge you. And He challenged you those 2 years ago, and then you were able to persevere again and learn something more about yourself.
Yeah, no, I get challenged every day,
Yeah,
especially with my mindset. Because I'm telling you, laying in that bed, knowing that I'm dependent on someone else, is hard.
yeah,
Knowing that if the person doesn't hear me, I'm there. Not able to do anything for myself. And so every day I have to get that proper start. Meditating. Having that gratitude list. Even a victory list. And even creating, saying to myself, I create joy in my life. And then throughout my day, just thinking about experiencing 10 joyful moments. And then at nighttime, ending it by saying, I create my own joy. And then break up those 3 things, at least 3 things out of those 10. Those joyful things to let me know, hey, I create my own joy. Just like,
let me ask you, that's so powerful. Why do you think it's so difficult for us, just as human beings, and then specifically as athletes, why is it so difficult for us to stay in a mindset that only enhances the things that we do? Why is it so difficult? Why do we have to remind ourselves to be positive about certain things? My opinion is because our life is based on action activity towards a result. And if you don't get that result, regardless of what you did, you failed. I may be wrong. So I want to know, because your situation is different. Now, everybody has their own situations, and some people see it one way or another. But you just said it. You have constantly and consistently, not even just remind yourself, but push a belief towards a positive mindset. Why is that more difficult than going the other way?
I think, and I heard this, is that we are told no. At least more times than we are told yes as children. So we greatly think of growing up in our mindset thinking negative. we're told more about Zig. I believe said told more about what we can do rather than what we can. So I think it all starts early, and then we form that mindset that eventually becomes a little part of our identity. Because it's a part of our identity, we think that's who we are. And then it goes into the rest of our lives until we may read something or meet, some other people to give us that different mindset. For example, coaches are always helping you change that mindset about yourself. And so I think that it's your mindset and what you've been around. Yeah. That's along with what you were saying about you having to do these things to get results. But again, I think everything really starts with what you're around, what you're influenced by, and if you're willing to say, hey, this ain't what I want. Right. I want something different.
Are you in a space right now, and I want to ask this the right way, I don't want to sound ridiculous asking, but do you ever reach a level of comfort? Like, not physically, like just you're at not at peace, but at ease with the turn your life made at 14, 15 years
old? No.
Okay. I didn't think so. We weren't built like that. So the human being is not built like that.
No. Like I said, I got robbed. I got robbed of my teenage years. I got robbed of really knowing if I was going to achieve my dream. I got robbed of the sport I love. I got robbed of, just different things in my life. And so looking at this now, I don't think I shared this, but I wasn't going to play football my freshman year.
Wow.
I was going to actually sit out and get my grades. And then we had a new head coach, Coach Ronnie Tips. I'm chilling in Florida of freshman orientation, ready to go home. I hear my friend, Trenell, new coaches are looking for you. I'm like, oh man, what did I do this time? And so I went to the head coach's office, and he looked at me. He said, Trenell, I've heard a lot of great things about you. If you had an opportunity to play on underneath the Friday Night Lights or with your class, which one would it be? That was a no-brainer.
We already know that. Yeah.
So when he told me that, that's when he was like, you know what you need to do. So I had to go get my physical and all that stuff to get it done. And that's why I tend to blame myself, but not so much now. Because I'm thinking, man, if I would have followed my first mind and not played football that year, I may not be in this position. So that's also makes it hard. I've gotten past that, but this is a constant reminder of the decision that I made 24 years ago.
That's why I asked, because you have no choice but to face that reminder every day. You can't turn your back on it. So it's hard to be at ease, I guess. Wow.
Have you feel like you've kind of grieved that? Like when you said, I've been robbed of this, I've been robbed of this. Have you made peace with that? Have you been able to move on, or do you still hold some anger there from that?
I've kind of moved on.
Yeah.
Because if I keep thinking about that, it's going to drag me to a place that I don't want to be.
You don't want to go. You're in a good place today.
And that's the answer to my earlier question. That's why you get up and we push ourselves toward those positive thoughts. Because if not, they'll wander in spaces we don't want to reside in anyway. Yeah, that makes so much sense to me.
I have a friend of mine. Actually, he's like my best. He actually is my best friend outside of my brother. He brought up, he's like, Trenell, have you ever thought about, what if this didn't happen? What if, we would have went to the same school? I'm like, dude, no. No. I said, and it kind of made me angry. when he asked asking it, I said, I don't think about those things because it's going to take me to a place that I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I've already been there.
Mm-hmm.
Depression sucks.
Man. Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't even wish not only this injury, but depression on anybody because it's
So
hard.
heavy.
So let me ask you, in that, as you were moving away from that, what is so hard about depression? I said it before that the feeling of depression is not that you don't want help or you're not looking for help, you don't want to be better. It's that constant feeling of you can't help me. Nobody can help me. And you sit in that, meaning I can't even help me. So it's getting out of that. In my mind, is way deeper than the surface of not being able to accomplish something or people picking on you. It's that not the feeling of loneliness, because you can be surrounded by people. That's a symptom of it. Or anger is a symptom. But for me, the root of it is helplessness. And I'm not even talking about just physical helplessness. I mean, like, I'm in this space and I ain't going nowhere. You know, you can throw a rope, you can bring a chopper. It's not going to work. That was the way it was for me.
Yeah.
And once I got out of that feeling of I need to help myself in order to get help,
You had to change your mindset.
everything changed. But I mean, like, that's the root of it. When did you find the root for you in order to get out of that space? Because you notice you got out of that space. Nobody helped you out of it. If you notice it, like you have to get out of that space. People can motivate you and push you and give you things, but nobody can pull you out of that space. You got to get out of it. So I'm asking, what was the root for you? And when you noticed it, how did you? Was it a sudden, like one day I'm terrible, the next day I'm making that flip? Was it after you prayed? It was instant and then slow. Like, how was that? Like, what happens when the excitement wears off is where I'm going with it.
Yeah. Like I said, when I prayed about it,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, But again, I still felt helpless and hopeless.
So for you, it was hope. It was lack of hope. Got it.
Hopeless. And one of the things that events that really changed another way I seen myself and kind of helped me get out of it, is my mom. And I'm laughing. I'm laughing because they were having an event for me, a fundraiser. I didn't want to go. And she was like, boy, you going. I'm like, I ain't going.
Mama's boy.
Yes.
Mama's okay. How old was y'all?
So she started putting my clothes on. And so I'm like, okay. And she's like, what you gonna do, bite me? And so she swung me in the chair. And I had like, man, I'm telling you, I had some spit in my mouth. And I was thinking about doing it. She was like, yo, I'm your mama and I would still beat your. And so I swallowed it. And so I was stubborn. Again, I started leaning forward, trying not to, stay in my chair. So she strapped a belt around my chest to make sure that I can do that anymore. Then I'm like, I'm in this chair.
Yeah.
She can, I'm not gonna move.
That is funny.
She unlocked the chair, pushed me to the van, and said, either you gonna push yourself in there, or
I'm gonna throw you in there.
And so we went out to this golf tournament. It was the best time I had. People, speaking to me, talking with me. Again, that right there helped. Because I didn't feel invisible anymore. And I realized that people aren't looking at me the way I was looking at myself.